Hey guys, it's Kip from Famous by Friday Pickleball. Got a brand new paddle to review, the new Adidas Metalbone. Along the way, a lot of paddle companies have taken small swings at this and that. We've seen the aerodynamic throat. We've seen carbon, Kevlar, fiberglass, and a little bit thrown into a paddle here and there. Even some foam, the thermoforming, the generations of that. Everybody's thrown a little bit at a time at paddles. Well, this paddle is all different. Adidas has taken a huge swing at this where almost every component is different than what we've seen before. I'm going to go through all these attributes and all the structural changes here. There are none of them that's kind of what we've experienced before in the past. Let's start out with the core. The core is and I'm going to try and say this correctly, polymethacrylamide acrylamide foam. That is something that we haven't seen much of in any paddle that I know of. Polymethacrylamide. That is something that I've never stood here and said before, I know. So the core is that, and then around the frame is a monocoque tubular carbon fiber that I've never said before, that actually has a frame around it, and the foam is in between that, and that should drag the sweet spot out, I would think. The face is a C18 carbon fiber face. I've never said that before, so that's new. Then you have these screws, these 2.6 gram screws that go in here that you can remove. It comes with a tool. You can take these out. There's 4 of those that you can kind of adjust the weight a little bit. You can take it out of the neck, and that's going to move the weight out to the tip. This paddle comes in with all 4 of these 2.6 gram screws. It comes in at 8.1 ounces, which is just about right. It could be a little bit more. You could always put a little lead tape on here. So it's customizable right out of the box. You could take these out if you want to go lighter. I almost wish they would make it go a little bit heavier, but you wouldn't want all that weight down here in the neck anyway necessarily. But that is cool. Once again, totally different. All 4 of those things that I've mentioned so far are different. The standardized things, this is 16.5 inches by 7.5 inches. The handle is 5.5 inches by a 4.25 inch circumference. The paddle is a 13 millimeter paddle. It does feel nice and light in my hand. I have no idea what to expect from any of these components or this paddle. I'm going to head out to the courts right now. I hope you guys are out there and get to hit this a little bit. I have no idea what to expect at all, but excited to try it out. All right, guys, I'll be back. That didn't sound right. All right, guys, Adidas Metalbone. This sounds, that just has a crazy sound to it. Pretty accurate though. Yeah, that was really nice. Try one more here. Yeah, that's really nice. You do have to swing a little bit harder with this. I'm kind of surprised. Kind of thought that the ball might jump off here. Let's try a couple of spins. Adidas Metalbone. That was me. Come here, ball. Okay, let's try a couple of spins with this. Adidas Metalbone. No spin at all on that ball. Absolutely no spin. Boy, I really spun that and it didn't break that far at all. Let me try one more. No spin. Absolutely zero spin there. Adidas Metalbone. No spin. That kind of surprised me a little bit. All right. Hey guys, back. Just spent the last few weeks with the new Adidas Metalbone. I'm going to bounce through the attributes of the things that this does well and the just plethora of things it doesn't do well. I'm going to touch on the looks here. This paddle looks great. And honestly, you instantly recognize it on the court. It looks that good. The other thing you instantly recognize on the court is the sound that comes from this paddle. It is like hitting a dinner plate, and the first time you hit it and hit it hard, everyone in the building or on the courts turns to look and see what that was. The sound that comes from this paddle is just almost obnoxious, and it is very loud and very noticeable, and not a sound that gives you a lot of comfort as far as, hey, you know, that was a great sound. Some have a click, or, you know, you have this, hey, I know I instantly hit the sweet spot and I know where this ball is going. This just sounds really, really awful. I've come from my golf days and used to have these drivers, and you would I don't care where you're teeing off on the 15th hole, everybody knew where you were because it was that loud and that obnoxious. And the Adidas Metalbone has that kind of sound to it. Now, let me bounce through the attributes, like I said, of this paddle. And with a caveat to all of this, it is fairly accurate and very consistent. However, it's not great at that. Everything that does well is kind of just okay, kind of mediocre. It just isn't great. It's got okay power. It's okay defense to offense. Although with lack of accuracy and consistency, you really can't rely on that. The feedback and feel is pretty harsh. Because once again, it almost plays like it sounds. It's exactly, the ball comes off of there, and you can imagine what that ball is going to sound like and what it's going to do just from that sound. Depth is okay, not outstanding, because it just doesn't have the great power. It doesn't have great accuracy, consistency. You get okay depth, but you're going to get flyers, and you're going to have some that just hit the net. The sweet spot is okay, kind of smallish, not great. It's pretty much where it is. Everything else this paddle does is just kind of mediocre as well. The weights are all confined down here. They're not movable. Yes, you can put lead tape on. I even tried to put lead tape on this to bring some sort of performance out of it. And I moved lead tape all around. I took these weights off. I tried all sorts of different things, and none of it really seemed to make a lot of difference. It is maneuverable. You can get it through the zone pretty quick. You just can't trust what it's really going to do once you get there. So the weights aren't very effective that they put in here because they're only in one spot. So you can't really maneuver them anywhere else. I would like to see where, and I know some company's going to do this, is move the weights all around with kind of a flush to the face or flush to the edge sort of ability where they're not going to affect any shots. They're not going to bump into any other paddles. They're not going to drag on the ground. But these are confined to one space, and it really doesn't affect the play that much. Once again, smallish sweet spot. The one thing this paddle doesn't have at all, and I mean zero spin. You cannot get any spin off this paddle at all. Doesn't do it at all. I don't often do kind of negative reviews. I always try and keep my reviews really positive. And even if the paddle doesn't fit my game, I want it to, here's a person that it will fit. This paddle, I love that they tried something new. It just doesn't do anything well. And if you're a spin enthusiast, you're going to dislike this paddle a whole lot. Another thing, this paddle is $260 US. If it did some things well, it would be worth that price. It just doesn't do that many things well at all. I love that Adidas tried something new. I love this is based on their pedal paddles. The structural components of this paddle are based on the pedal paddles. I love that they tried something new. It's just kind of a whiff. But I'm excited to see what they're going to do next. They might be the ones that move these weights around and make them flush with the edge. They might be going to do something with that. This may be kind of the first stage of where they're going, and I hope so. It's a cool design. I mean, as far as the one thing it does, and I can go back to it, it looks great, and you can see it from courts away. This paddle is beautiful. Just wish it performed as well. All right, guys, thanks for stopping by. If you hit this, kind of let me know, see what you think about it, and how well you hit with it and you enjoyed it. All right, guys, as always, hit like, hit subscribe. I'll be back with more very soon. Get out and play.